I was reading an article recently in the Times Education Supplement in which a secondary school parent governor described career guidance in schools as not fit for purpose. Not fit for purpose. I mean, what a shocking indictment is that? But before I go any further, I want to make clear that that is not a criticism of teachers. Teachers are not to blame for this. What is to blame is a completely broken education system. The fault lies at the door of a whole succession of politicians of both parties who have reduced the education system to a complete shambles, and especially when it comes to careers guidance. Now, if you want to know why that is so and how they've managed to achieve that appalling situation, I will explain that in a lot more detail on the next clip. Just for now, just take my word for it that that is the case. Because what I want to do on this clip is to talk about what the implications of that lack of adequate careers guidance is for young people. Now, young people, in my experience, fall into three categories when they leave the education system. Some of them will get their careers off to a flying start in spite of the fact that that guidance is not fit for purpose, and I'll tell you why they do it and how they do it. These are the kids who know precisely what career they want to follow. They know exactly what steps they need to take in order to achieve that career goal, and they get on with it. And they're probably the ones who didn't need much advice in the first place. Now let's talk about the second group. These are probably the largest group. These are the kids who, a bit like I was when I was their age, don't have too much clue what career they want to follow. So they choose to study a course which they enjoy, a subject they like, a subject they're naturally good at. They probably work very hard, they get good grades, and they find their ideal job after they left the education system. And it's a good job. They enjoy it. They're having a thoroughly good time at this job. They're doing well. The problem is, because they found it after they left the education system, they've committed themselves in the meantime to studying a course which is completely irrelevant to the job they eventually go into. Now, I meet a lot of young people who fit into that category. And when I interview them, when I ask them about the job that they enjoy so much, when I say to them, look, suppose we'd met in a mock interview situation when you were 16, and I had asked you, what career do you want to follow? Is this the job you would have described to me? And the answer is nearly always no. And when I ask them, well, why? I mean, if this is such a great job and you're enjoying it so much, why wouldn't it have been the career you were aiming at? And I'm sure you can guess what the answer is they give. Because back then, when I was 16, I didn't know this job existed. Nobody told me there was such an opportunity. So they've got into a good job, but they've gone an awfully long roundabout way of doing it. It's a bit like discovering that you want to go from Birmingham to Manchester and discovering that that there's a better route than going via Norwich. What about the third group? This is the group I feel really sorry for. These are the kids who work really, really hard. They devote maybe 2 years of their lives to studying for A levels. They invest a further 3 years at university to get a degree. That's 5 years altogether. And they come out with a really good qualification, maybe a 2-1 degree in whatever subject it is, and then they find that the best job they can get is some menial, low-paid job that they were qualified to do if they'd left school after GCSEs. Now that is a heartbreaking outcome for any young person. It's pretty heartbreaking for their parents as well, quite honestly. And in the meantime, they've probably racked up a student debt of anything up to £50,000 as well. It is, as I say, a heartbreaking outcome. And we're not talking about just a handful of exceptional students here. We're talking thousands. We're probably talking tens of thousands of young people who end up in this situation. Well, I'm going to be sharing a lot of ideas with you. If you stick with this channel, if you'd like to subscribe to this channel and hear regular tips from me, I'm going to be talking not just about how and why things go so drastically wrong, but how you can avoid the pitfalls, how you can develop strategies for getting your career off to a flying start. Then you can go away and put them into practice. I'm not going to hold back. But some of you may feel that you would also like to work alongside me, that you'd kind of like me to act as your guide, as your mentor, to help you get there. So I'm going to be talking about how you can do that, how we can work together as partners. I'll be talking about all sorts of things like that. If you stick with me, listen to some of the clips that are still to come. Let's get excited about it, shall we?